Hey, it's Justin Pautonnier here on the Mixed Morning Grind. Tamara Dables joins me, Executive Director for the Fort Saskatchewan and District Chamber of Commerce. Tamara, how are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. How's your summer been so far?
You know what? Pretty good. Pretty good. My youngest child graduated just last weekend, and
No way.
uh, yeah, for the first time in just about a year, I got to see my parents, and as they're both vaccinated and moving things along. So it's been an exciting summer so far.
No kidding. How's the graduation journey been? We were kind of talking about it the other day on the show, and I feel so bad for these kids. Like my graduation year, was a blast. A little bit of a
Yeah.
blur, but it was a blast. So they don't get to experience a lot of these things, but a lot of them, they seem to be just kind of making the most of it. How about your experience with it?
And of course it wasn't what we expected or what we thought it would be, and that in itself can be disappointing. But I spoke with my daughter just yesterday, because she had a little bit of a blur on Saturday night as well. So Monday was a good time to chat with her,
Sure.
and she said, "You know what, Mom? No, it wasn't what we thought, but we had a lot of fun. And in fact that they eased the restrictions to 20 people outside, there was a small gathering that they had outdoors at one of their friends' place in the evening. So they did it safely and still able to celebrate that huge milestone. So
It is. It's massive. It's one of those big ones in life. Does it seem like a lot of the kids in her grade are moving directly into post-secondary, or some of them kind of taking that gap year? Does this change that at all? The pandemic?
well, I know had she graduated last year, she would have taken a year off because she's not interested in online
No, for
post-secondary
sure.
education.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most of her friends, her close-knit group, are going into university next year, and she's excited to have been accepted into engineering.
Engineering. Wow. That's
Yeah,
got to be exciting, eh?
yeah. She's far smarter than I am, so she'll do well.
Did you go the university route right out of school as well?
I did. I took a couple of years in psychology and realized that I needed that break. So then I took a few years off and moved out to Alberta before going back to the U of A in the business, getting my BCom.
So now looking ahead, we're looking to be progressing somewhat well out of the pandemic so far. I know I'm already dreaming about things, far into the future, about maybe my first trip after the pandemic. Do you have any kind of big goals? Maybe a trip somewhere that you want to go after all this is cleared up?
So I'm not sure how long term you're thinking. Right now, I'm still in the what's next week, but we'll be celebrating our 22nd anniversary. Last year, I was telling my friends, like last year didn't exist. And so I'm still stuck thinking 21st anniversary, but no, it'll be our 22nd anniversary. So last summer, we purchased our dream vehicle,
Oh,
two-seater convertible, just one of those things you just drive in the summer. And Trevor rubs with one of those cloth diaper thingies to
jammies,
keep all shiny.
jammies.
The
Yeah.
jammies, yeah, make it all shiny, and he takes care of that better than anything else in the house. So we're gonna take a trip down probably to Canmore
Oh,
for our anniversary next month.
nice. Cool. I'm actually heading to Canmore this weekend. Have you ever done the Legacy Trail before?
I
I'm
haven't.
No, yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend. So it's new for
Oh,
me.
how
So
fun.
I'll let you know how it goes. So let's get into it a little bit more, Tamara, on why you're here with me this morning. We're talking about this fantastic event that you guys have coming up with the Chamber of Commerce, FORTitude. Just you can give us a little bit of a description on what is coming up in the next couple of weeks.
You bet. FORTitude's actually here on next Thursday, June 24th. And so even though it's been about 18 months in the planning, we had initially planned to have it last June. Even though it's been 18 months, it feels like it went so quickly. So it's a leadership forum that is mostly targeted women. Anybody can join us really, but it was born out of conversations with our Women in Business Committee about things that are holding us back, or the barriers that are there in our lives, whether that's in business, in a career. whether it's in our personal lives. So things like imposter syndrome or lack of confidence, or how do you find your voice, or those difficult conversations that everybody has, or networking, really important. How do you do it successfully? And of course, right now with Zoom being the rage, how do you use video to your greatest advantage? Things like we've been learning how to lead remotely. That's not been all that easy for a lot of us.
Yeah, sure.
So just kind of a mental health check-in, and really, how do you thrive when the world doesn't make sense? So all of these topics are going to be covered next week, and really help the women in the heartland propel themselves forward. And so even if you only get one or two nuggets out of it, my goal is that everybody who comes can find something that speaks to them and will move them forward.
Well, and you've got some top-notch guests taking part in this too.
We sure do. Our keynote speaker is Michelle Cederberg out of Calgary. This phenomenal woman, just full of energy, great, a wonderful presenter. So she's going to kick us off. We have our MC, Rhonda Newman from Newman Consulting from Strathcona County, Dr. Wanda Costin, the Dean of the MacEwan School of Business. We have our very own Catherine Loranger, who is past president of the Chamber of Commerce and current chair of Women in Business. Lynette Tremblay from Edmonton Global. Jessie Szymanski, she's with Modern Muse Media, one of our business leaders here. Catherine Hott of Hott Training. We have Ruth Ann Weeks from Harmony in the Workplace. Like, these are top-notch speakers. It's going to be amazing.
So how can folks get involved with it if they're looking to purchase a ticket or looking to sign up? How can they do it?
You bet. So you can go to our website, which is www.fortsaskchamber.com/FORTitude-forum. Gives you a list of our speakers, the agenda for the day, how to get tickets. Tickets are now $75, and you can upgrade your experience if you'd like and get our experience box. That's going to include 30 minutes with Michelle Cederberg, and then amazing gifts. We've got a couple of books from our speakers. We have some wine glasses that were artfully designed by seniors at Chartwell Emerald Hills. There's a journal from us and a pashmina. It's just going to be an amazing experience box. Keep saying amazing, Justin, but I'm so excited about it.
Well, no, the lineup is huge, and there's a lot of bang for your buck if you are purchasing and taking part in this. I wanted to ask you personally. I mean, you're a female leader in business. This has got to be kind of right up your alley as something that you'd be interested in if you weren't, organizing it, right?
So absolutely. This is the fruition of a lot of work and a lot of dreaming, and I'm very, very proud of it. We have just a kick butt, if I can be careful.
You can use either word. That's totally fine.
Committee involved with people from the region. So from Sturgeon County and Strathcona County and Lamont County. We really came together to bring the best of the best here. And absolutely, all of these presentations speak to me, and so I'm grateful to be a part of this.
So I guess you're hearing from a lot of business owners all the time here in the Heartland, and so what are some of the concerns, maybe some of the differences that female leaders are looking at these days when it comes to, I guess maybe they're not seeing this the same way that their male counterparts are, or vice versa, creating those differences and maybe kind of a divide when it comes to moving forward in business?
So some of the barriers, and then this is not gender specific for sure, but what we've heard from the Women on Business Committee, our members, are sometimes it's that self-advocacy. How do you really put yourself out there and speak your mind, or get that promotion or the contract that you want? I have one of our members, a young woman who is very successful business person. She was doing some work renovations in her space, and her father was there kind of helping out, and all the contractors would go and talk to her father. But he didn't know. He was taking direction from the business owner. And so these kind of things still are happening. It's just, so how do we present ourselves as the authority in the room? How do you advocate for yourself? How do you have those really difficult conversations and say, well, no. This is who you talk to. And it's those kind of things are still coming up. So it's really, really important to be to continuously improve and look for that training and the reassurance that we're on the right track. We just need to use our voices a little bit more.
Well, and I think coming out of COVID, especially too, some businesses have been put in some really tough positions. This is just kind of an extra boost to folks that are looking to sign up, because it's going to take everything to kind of right the ship here. And, it's happening slowly but surely, but any help is good help, I'd say, at this point, right?
Agreed. Yeah. The business community has really been, in general, has really been struggling over the last 15, 16 months and longer, really, because in the Heartland, we've experienced that trifecta of the Black Swan.
Yeah.
So COVID just being that, that little straw. But so any kind of support that we can provide to the business community to help them, then that's our role. That's our role here.
And so how are things looking at this point in the Heartland? Are things trending in the right direction from what you're seeing at the Chamber of Commerce? As an overall outlook, are we getting out of it all right?
That is very dependent on the business I'm talking to at the moment. There are some businesses that are doing very well. Absolutely. The pandemic provided some opportunities that may not have been there otherwise. The majority of the businesses are still struggling. We still have those restrictions. Getting employees is very difficult at the moment. There's still fear around and worry about that health and safety. So getting people back to work and being available. Also, do we know we're going to, the hope is, and it looks like we're going to be out of this. But as business owners, you have to be planning for all of the contingencies. That just is exhausting. And I think they're hitting the wall. But now they're looking forward and like, great, we can get our employees back, and not all those employees want to come back, or they found other jobs because it's been 15 months.
Right. And I guess part of the other thing too is, are you seeing the way that business is being done maybe changing? We hear a lot about online is the new workplace. I think in some cases, sure, that works. In many, it doesn't. Are you seeing a trend of businesses that may typically, be in person, transitioning towards more online?
Well, that's certainly been the case for the last 15 months. And where people can pivot, they have. We've seen our retailers getting online for e-commerce. We've seen digital marketing explode. You've seen, if you're in the business of building home offices, you're probably doing not bad.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so, as employers, we're realizing that there's some flexibility in a lot of the types of businesses that we do. So it doesn't all have to be in the office any longer. You can have that flexibility. And the pandemic has had a more profound impact, arguably, on women than more on men. And of course, that's a generalization. There's certainly men that have seen a larger impact than women, but primarily what we see is women taking on that caregiving role at home and owning their own business. And then there was daycare challenges and homeschooling. These poor parents who had to now become teachers and learn how to teach new math. I know we keep coming back to that, and it's a joke, but it sure is hard.
It is.
And supporting their kids at home while they're still either doing their careers or doing their businesses. I think that the ability and the flexibility that this remote working provides us opportunity to get more women back to work.
Interesting. Okay, because that was kind of one of the questions I was going to ask, is if it disproportionately was affecting women more, overall numbers, of course. But that's an interesting thing that you just said there, that moving it to online could be a benefit to female entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's not easy. I've talked to many, many women who are managing both, right? Or all of it. And it's not easy. but being able to work remotely provides them the opportunity to work different hours, or to take care of what needs to be taken care of during the school hours, and so that they can then concentrate on their customers and their clients at other times. It certainly has added some flexibility. It is not going to be for every industry. It's not going to work for every person, but I think that there's lots of good examples where it's certainly supporting women in business.
Well, and if you're looking to find out more about women in business and leadership in business from a female perspective, of course, FORTitude is coming up. And Tamara, thanks so much for chatting with us about it. Anything else you want to add?
No, just a reminder, tickets are still available at www.fortsaskchamber.com. And feel free to call us at the office here, 780-998-4355 for more information. I'd love to chat with you. We are going to be hosting another FORTitude forum in November. It'll be the Future Leader.
Well, we will chat with you then, Tamara.
Thanks so much, Justin.